Welcome to the 7 Minutes to Better Selling podcast. I'm your host, Colin Lake, president and founder of Developing the Next Leaders. So Matt, welcome.
Thank you, Colin. Great to be here on this fine Veterans Day. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Yes, well, thank you for your service, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart and bottom of my family's heart.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to do a brief introduction on you, Matt, and then I'm going to get the heck out of the way and let people hear what we all want to know, which is more about you, more about vets, and vets, not just veterans. Matt will tell you a little more about what we mean with vets, more about Green Star families. So I'm going to just talk briefly about what I do know. Matt is a 26-year veteran. He has served our country for 26 years. He is a combat veteran. Once he leaves the military, he starts two not-for-profits, both of those designed to help people who are exiting the military live confidently and comfortably post combat, post service. And so I've consistently been inspired by all he's doing. So Matt, if you will, tell us a little about how you get to like where you are today. I'm talking about from like the day you sign up, we don't have to go for 10 minutes on that, but like from the day you sign up to where you are today.
To be honest, when I first signed up, it was just to get out of my house. I was 18 and I wanted to see and explore the world. And then it turned into a passion. I realized that I loved what I did, taking care of soldiers. I was a medic all 26 years. And the adventure just kept going and going and going and led me to a deployment in Iraq. And then I came back and I started working full time for the Pennsylvania National Guard, of which I learned the VA system and the military system when it comes to medical discharges and injuries and such. And that was my passion, was to help soldiers navigate the medical system so that they didn't walk away with nothing, that they, got paid for their injuries. And then I was in a really bad car accident in 2017 while working full time for the Pennsylvania National Guard, and that ended my career. The fight was not done in me. I still wanted to help veterans, and I came out and researched different ways in which I could mainly prevent or stop veteran suicide, which has affected me greatly and the services greatly, which led me to creating VETS, which is Veteran Equine Therapy Specialists. What we do is an alternative form of psychotherapy where we use horses to assist us during the process rather than sitting in an office and trying to explain feelings that many of us never even learn words for. And then mainly prompted by my cousin, Wes Donnelly. He's a veteran as well of Afghanistan, and we were trying to get him into numerous programs. He was suffering from PTSD up until the day that he took his own life. Excuse me. So that prompted some thought on my side of how do we help these families that lost their veterans to suicide? What are they called? So I started researching on the internet, and really a lot of things out there now is for the prevention of suicide with a bunch of nonprofits that are started. The VA's focus on, the government's focus on it. But I really felt that until you actually give it a name and label it and federally recognize it, such as Gold Star, then there was no way to actually start with a foundation and build to overcome the veteran suicides. So we came up with Green Star Families of America, mainly because of Wes Donnelly, and started that nonprofit in 2020. We have a bill before Congress now through Representative Van Drew. It's HR 5036. And what this will do is identify and federally recognize a service banner, much along the lines of Gold Star and Blue Star, for the Green Star families, so that they can at least hopefully receive behavioral health therapy and heal properly from the trauma of losing their veteran to suicide.
I mean, to think of 26 years serving our country and then to do what you're doing now, I applaud you. I truly do. And I know hopefully thousands that are listening. Sometimes we have over 1,000 listen live to these things, and I just hope that they're as moved as I was and touched as I was to hear you talk about your cousin. And so thank you for doing what you're doing. And like I say, I'm truly grateful, and I think I speak for all of us. Yeah, thank you, Matt. So how do you like start these things? Like, did you just say like all of a sudden I'm going to do this? Like, did you partner with anyone? Did you just raise money? Like, how did you get started, and how can we help further those?
It was an idea in my head. I'm not one to always think things all the way through. So more or less, I jumped into it. I started researching. So it started out with vets. I went through equine assisted therapy as well myself for treatment, and really took to it. It really did a lot of good for me. It wasn't sitting in an office, which I've never really sat in an office being on active in the military for so long. You're always out in the elements, you're working with your hands, and that's how you can, have the freedom to think in your brain. So this just totally made sense, to have your hands on a horse, to be connected with an animal that is non-judgmental. And through those processes, I found peace. I was able to relax more. Being a medic and seeing all that I've seen, especially over in Iraq with the wounds and the injuries, and you're the person that everybody looks to, you got to have that composure. You have to compartmentalize. And what I didn't know, that I was warned about my entire career, was that if you don't do self-care and take care of yourself, eventually that cup that holds all of those traumas in your head will start to overflow. And that's truly what was happening. So as I learned the process, I really just wanted to bring it and share it with all the veterans that are out there. It is an emerging practice. There are still lots of things that need to be worked out and better defined, as well as licensing and licensure for the two different worlds, with the equine and the psychological portion of it. But then the harder passion was to ask the government and hold them accountable, and really say, like, okay, we know that veteran suicide is an issue, but what exactly is being done? And it really just felt like nothing. To be honest with you, nothing is being done. And so let me try to paint you a little type of picture here. So you have a family of a veteran. That veteran is suffering, having issues, maybe with addiction, maybe with PTSD, trying and struggling to keep a job or provide for the family. The family suffers right next to them for however many years. If the veteran's been out for 2, 3, 4 years, that's how long the family's been suffering and struggling next to that veteran. Then one night, the veteran decides to take his own life, or their own life. The next morning, the family comes down and finds that veteran. Who do they turn to now? I mean, they've been many years from their unit, from the family that they left from the military. The VA, unless they're enrolled, which it's been proven that over half the veterans aren't even enrolled in the VA. So who do the families turn to? And to be honest with you, there really isn't anybody, unless you still have that one friend that used to be, way back when, that the family reaches out to. So we want to be that organization that the family can at least reach out to, so that they can share with us their trauma. I mean, imagine finding your veteran by yourself and then following through the steps with the burial and such. But what about after that? What about all the trauma that they suffered next to the veteran with the anger outbursts or the addictions or the struggles? These families need help, and we really need to provide some form of therapy and healing to them. I believe they deserve it. I have been affected by it personally, and this is definitely something that we are not going to back down from the government to get past. Which is the full recognition of these families with their own identification with the Green Star.
Yeah, boy, that's awesome. That is just excellent. I mean, what a powerful message, what a powerful story. And, if you take the theme of what we do every day, like we as an organization develop next leaders in coaching and training and building learning development programs for salespeople. And you just take what you just said there, and apply it to like everyday life. One is find something that you're passionate about. That's one thought. Two is have the courage to just start. Like, you said you don't always get stuck on like thinking everything through, and maybe you don't need to think everything through. You just need to start. And if you have the right passion and mission, things tend to work out pretty well in most cases. And so that's one of the main things I just heard from what you said in that inspiring story.
Definitely. And just trust yourself. I mean, know you're going to make mistakes. Know that you can overcome those mistakes. Know you're going to have triumphs and wins. Relish in them for a small period of time, but move on. Like, look to the next and just keep growing and going, and don't stop. I don't know how to stop. Mm-hmm. But I can definitely tell you that this is therapy for me as well, to constantly keep going. And the people that I meet along the way that are willing to help in either Vets or with Green Star, my mentors for both of them, I found, 2 different mentors for each field, and the knowledge that they've been so gracious to help me learn and grow, and advice that they give, including you. It's humbling to have and know that there's such great leaders out there to help another leader that's coming up. I mean, I don't look at myself as a leader. I just look at myself as somebody who has a passion that wants to see it come to fruition. And that's why leaders such as you and my other 2 mentors, Jeannie and Bernadette, are so great, because they see it as well, and they can help foster that to push us on. So if you ever think you're alone, you're not. Especially to the veterans, there's people out there that can help get you to the next level, or just be there to listen. So reach out, please, everybody. Just understand we're not as bad as what the news tries to say we are.
Yeah. Matt, let me ask you this. This is my last question is, what do you need to help support Vets and Green Star? What do you need would be the one part, and the second part, and this will be the last part, would be how do we get in touch with you? How do we support your mission?
Roger. So I'll start with Vets. What would be most helpful for us there is we're looking at starting scholarships so that we can provide equine assisted therapy to veterans free of charge to them. With our donations that we received from Facebook fundraisers and big organizations such as Wawa has been huge and very incremental in making sure that our programs are able to continue. Would be to have a sponsor who could come and help us do scholarships so that we have funding there for veterans that need this type of therapy and care that isn't covered by insurances largely. How to get in touch with us there, you can go to our website. It's theequinets.com, or you can email me directly, vets.matt@gmail.com. And then for Green Star, we're doing pretty good with donations and funding. By all means, if you'd like to donate, please go to our website. It's greenstarfamilies.org. On there, we do have a donation button that we just got put on there not too long ago. Again, I mean, remember, we just were born in 2020, so I think we've accomplished a lot in a very short amount of time. But on a larger scale, what we really need is for people to reach out to their representatives. Like I said, we have a bill in front of Congress, HR 5036. It's also known as the Green Star bill. Reach out to your representative and please ask them to support that bill. It's actually been sitting in Congress since 13 August. There hasn't been a co-sponsor to the bill. It has been referred to a subcommittee for health, as well as another committee for the VA. So I think if the representatives help push this bill along and stop the shenanigans that are going on up there right now, that this will finally get the recognition that it needs so that it can move forward and more things can be put up underneath this federal recognition for these families, which is all later to come. But right now, all we're asking for is just the recognition and for behavioral health for the families.
That's awesome. And Matt, by the way, this is to you and then to everyone listening. DTNL will take your information. We'll put it up on our website next to this podcast. We'll put it out on our YouTube. We'll put it out on our social sites as well. So we'll help forward the message there. And hopefully we'll, get more people following you on Facebook so that when you do those fundraisers, you'll have lots of more supporters behind you. So I'll begin or I'll end where we began, which is a thank you for your service for 26 years and for these last few years as you've expanded the people that you're helping, willing to help, and inspiring along the way.
It's absolutely been my pleasure to serve. I would do it all over again. I just wish that there was something more for the families of veterans that have committed suicide and for those struggling with PTSD. So I'm here to help with that, and anything I can do, please reach out.
That's great. Thank you, Matt. Good selling, everyone.
Great to be here. Thanks.